Hello and good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
ערב טוב, גבירותיי ורבותיי. Today we started dealing with the days of the protective age operation. The results of the operation led me to enter the political life because I was concerned with the state of Israel. What we discovered during the operation, protective age operation, was lack of preparation and preparedness and hesitation and negligence in terms of command. And during the previous Minister of Defense, Yalon. Today, there were various strong statements made about preparedness, about achievements, about results. And I think what was said by Yalon and the results of that operation is very far removed from the words that were said. Whoever is successful in leading such a failed operation with such terrible results, must he start preaching about leadership, and he must not be arrogant enough to present himself as an alternative in leadership. In light of many of the military operation in the history of the State of Israel, we always had combat fighters in the area and commanders. They all acted with great bravery, but the top command of the IDF and the Minister of Defense, who's supposed to supervise the IDF, failed in their mission because IDF has a lot of power and force that was victorious in those big historic wars in the history of the State of Israel. It is an army that turned surprise and defeat almost defeat in the Yom Kippur War to a glamorous victory that brought our forces 101 kilometers from Cairo during protective edge. Throughout 55 days of the operation, the defense system led forward a failing procedure. We've never seen such a thing before. Minister of Defense said that it was intended to justify those very weak achievements. The State of Israel places in the hands of the Chief of Staff and the Ministry of Defense its very best, the best of its youth, a budget of over 70 billion shekels and very broad authorities that a democratic state can give to any single person. I think it is their mission and their role to give military solutions and not to come with excuses as to their conduct, and definitely not to present lack of leadership as leadership. A limited operation, as we experience in protective edge, was supposed to be short, of high quality, and not expensive as far as human resources are concerned and other resources. But none of these components was achieved during this operation. It was a long battle, too long, too costly, and not of high quality. The silence that was achieved in its wake does not emanate from the right conduct of command, but because of disproportional forces, 1 to 1,000 between Israel and the Gaza Strip, between the IDF and the Hamas militants. Such forces, we will not have the advantages of such proportion in the future. We'll have to go back to bravery, to determination, to creativity. These were our main tools in previous wars, and we might need them in future as well. We came to this battle after a process of preparation that was lacking, after we knew that there was a threat and we did not prepare ourselves properly. The previous Minister of Defense knew that there were tunnels out there. The public knows that he knew, and for many long months he talked about it before the operation, but the plans were not prepared, the forces were not trained, the equipment was not acquired, and every military commander, even the more junior commanders, understand that any operation in the Gaza Strip must include, in every scenario, dealing with the tunnels attacking them or using military tools, using every means to overcome these. And that feeling that we have that we miss an opportunity is the direct result of wanting preparation, lacking preparation. Because when a war breaks out, those who take the wheel at the hand, the highest commanders, the cabinet, the prime minister, are and are presented with a given situation. The military commanders present the situation during times of routine. The military must plan, must prepare itself, must acquire ammunition and train and prepare itself for battle. The role of the Minister of Defense is to supervise the process of preparation, of training, to connect between the military executive and other alternative branches. That is our system. The military system prioritizes plans, prepares a number of alternatives, and ranks them. And when the time comes, the cabinet decides which alternative to take, which alternative presented by the military. For this operation, the less planned for or the least efficient alternatives were presented to the cabinet. Again, choosing between such alternatives, such weak alternatives, showed no responsibility. We had no creativity. We were not well prepared before battle. 5 years before that, I commanded the cost-led operation. It was an innovative process. It was a real strategic surprise, but we could still use that same strategy, the strategy of surprise, once only. But protective edge was not synchronized, wasn't well prepared. It was a failure. It's not a decree from heaven. It was man-made. That is not how things they were not supposed to be conducted in this way. The result was not supposed to be so. I think we deserve a better military leadership. In the past 2 years, there has been improvement in the conduct of the IDF, and yet the wars have not ended. Battles have not ceased. We must look into the challenges of the future. We must analyze these with wisdom. We must change our defense conceptions. We must shatter certain paradigms, and we must direct the executive branches to conduct itself with synergy, with creativity, for which we were famous for many years, by, again, examining and analyzing the situation with wisdom, with courage when we take decisions, with great determination and perseverance during the execution. In the current reality, Israel has three interests vis-a-vis the Gaza Strip: quiet, demilitarization, and taking away that responsibility. These overlap each other. One may come at the expense of the other, but by looking at the military situation in the Gaza Strip, we can identify three trends which will bring about escalation. Hamas is not able to give solutions to the population in Gaza, bad economic situation, and there is fermentation among the population. I think the Hamas fighting forces are preparing for scenarios of wars, are preparing themselves, are gaining ammunition, are digging tunnels, and they are aspiring to obtain their goals, fighting against Israel. Alongside this, Israel has improved its capabilities in terms of discovering the tunnels, destroying them, and we are starting to erode the main asset of Hamas. So again, if we continue along these paths, we will deteriorate into another war, because somebody who, again, digs offensive tunnels to fight with Israel do not intend to transfer candy through these tunnels. We have to prepare for such a scenario. We are able to avoid the next conflict by means of humanitarian assistance for the benefit of the population in the Gaza Strip, to improve the electricity grid, improve the water quality, and with good security arrangements, we can create a harbor on an island near the Gaza shore, and with supervision, of course. But vis-a-vis this threat, we should still take a broader perspective with regards to the threats that are out there. First and foremost, I mean the Shiite Iranian Hezbollah threat. In the past 20 years, we have seen Hezbollah and Iran gaining a foothold. We are finding that the Shiite axis is becoming stronger. Saddam Hussein regime fell by these and brought about the toppling over of the Sunni wall. Great parts of Iraq are controlled by Shiite pro-Iranian Arab regime. Lebanon is under Hezbollah control, which is the executive branch of Iran, and the battle over Damascus and the entire Syria. Again, we probably will see the victory of a Shiite Alawi axis with the support of Russia. This creates a strategic security challenge for Israel. This is a clear threat, an immediate danger, which embeds at least 4 warring components. There will be a strategic Shiite axis from Iran through Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria, from the Persian Gulf all the way to Mediterranean, and this axis may allow good transportation of ammunition and weapons from Tehran to Lebanon and Syria. If there's a Shiite force, pro-Iranian, in Damascus, this creates a strategic anchor of command representing Iran, and of course this can bring about the growth of more militants and terrorism organisms. The Galant Heights can become another front in that effort by Iran against the state of Israel. Israel has a long border with Jordan as well. I think the Shiite pressure continues to increase as millions of refugees are part of this already, and the danger grows for instability in Jordan, and Jordan again becoming a fighting arena against Israel. And yet there is still a ray of hope. That is Jordan, we have to do all in our power to recruit the USA under the administration of the new president to promote the Israeli security interests. First and foremost, again, repressing Iran and its ever-growing threat, especially in the northern border, and above all this, taking every step in order to ensure there will be Iran will not have nuclear weapons. A dangerous country that supports terrorism. The European terrorism, just like that of the moderate Sunni world, are on par with our own in this context. Just to conclude and sum up what I wish to say, if we want life, we must carry out true investigations. We have to pinpoint what our failures are. We have to identify the gaps vis-a-vis the future and prepare ourselves in accordance. To do this, we need a worthy military leadership. Thank you so much.